question is PK an anti-Hindu movie? Answer: no, it is a anti-religion movie, more specifically anti-religious rituals movie, and to see it as an attack on Hinduism reflects a victim mentality where paranoidly one imagines threats where actually there are no threats, where there are no slights. Just as Pakistan imagines that all problems of Pakistan are caused by India. So similarly, Hindus should not imagine such movies are attacks on them. Actually speaking, when we try to reduce things, it's basically a secular versus religious debate. And to try to reduce it to one religion criticizing another religion, it will only alienate people further from the broad tradition that is there under the umbrella of Hinduism. So in the movie there is criticism of Islam also, Christianity also. Naturally there is more criticism of Hinduism because it is a movie produced in India, and India has a majority of Hindu people. So just as if an atheist writes a book criticizing atheism in England, say Richard Dawkins has written a book, he's written for a Western audience, Europe and America. So he will primarily criticize Christianity over there in his book, if he has to criticize a specific target religion, and he will not be talking about Islam or Hinduism because that is not so relevant for his target audience. So yes, there is a majority of Hindu rituals which are caricatured in the movie, but rather than seeing that as an attack on Hinduism, we need to see it as an attack on religion in general. And now some people say that actually because Hindus don't protect their religion, that's why anybody and everybody starts criticizing Hinduism. So we should become more aggressive in defending Hinduism. Actually speaking, we don't have to become intolerant in order to respond to such things. We can respond, but in an intelligent way, not in an intolerant way. It is true that, say, people will be afraid to criticize Islam, and people are generally don't criticize Christianity so much in India. Yes, the media, what goes on in the name of secularism is often appeasement of minorities. There is some truth to that, but the important point is that we don't have to imitate the negativity of the media or the negativity of other religions. Now, any religion that is intolerant, that is a negative example, and if we become intolerant in the sense of having violent protests against this, then that is definitely undesirable, and that will lead to a further perpetuation of the image of Hinduism also being an intolerant religion. And what is needed is definitely that there has to be an intelligent response by which wherein we look at the points and explain whatever is wrong in the movie. But trying to vandalize and do violence, this is definitely undesirable, and this reflects again a politicalization of the issue which is undesirable. It is a issue which has to be dealt with intellectually, and we have the resources to deal with it intellectually. But if we go into the zone of violence, then the whole focus gets shifted from the intellectual side of the issue, the logical side of the issue, and it becomes paralyzed with communal emotions. And in today's world, any religion that appears as intolerant, as violent, that gets blacklisted in people's minds, and people go away from that. So by violent responses, due to imagining the movie to be an anti-Hindu movie, we will actually alienate intelligent people from the very tradition which we are claiming to protect. Why are we not born with a stamp of the religion to which we belong? Answer: because the religion to which we belong, whether it is Hindu, Muslim, Christian, these are external to us. They are attributes of our body, and we are not the body, we are the soul. So these religions are characteristics of the body, just as, say, Indian, American, Pakistani, these are also characteristics of the body. So now we cannot expect that whatever characteristics of the body are there, they are born with us. Nobody is born with a stamp of being an Indian or a Pakistani. Similarly, nobody is born with a stamp of being a Hindu or a Muslim. So now, what does this point imply? That we don't have a stamp of which religion that we belong to. Does that mean that all religions are false? No, it simply means that religion as we understand it is not innate to us, but religion is a process that we adopt to bring out that which is innate to us. The Sanskrit word dharma means that which is our original nature. And what is our core nature? What is that without which we can't exist? That is to love and serve. Wherever we are, whoever we are, we want to love and serve. So to direct our loving and serving propensity properly towards God, so that we can love Him and we can love all living beings in relationship with Him, and thereby gain lasting happiness. The process for doing that is religion. So we can adopt different religions, or we can practice a particular religion so that we develop love for God. The purpose is important. So religion is not our innate characteristic, in the sense that we don't belong to a particular religion right from birth. But dharma, our innate characteristic is to love and serve. And to help us to love and serve in a way by which we actually grow in life and become happy and help others become happy, we need to follow external process. So religion in that sense is like a university. So just as nobody is born with the stamp of the university in which a person is going to go, but then that person chooses a university so as to become educated. Similarly, we practice a particular religion so that we become purified, so that we develop love for God. As we get to know God and we learn how to love Him. So in that sense, whether it is Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, whatever we follow, the purpose is to follow the religion by which we can develop love for God. The university which we adopt, we are not born with a stamp of that university. But just because we are not born with a stamp does not mean that we don't need any university. It means that we have to intelligently choose a particular university and go to that university for the purpose of getting education. So when people follow religious rituals blindly, then they do it just because it has been done in the tradition. They don't know what is the purpose of doing it. And then that religion may not take them to God, and sometimes it can become a source of divisiveness also. So, but then that divisiveness can happen because of anything. That divisiveness can happen because of nationality. India and Pakistan are fighting. Or it can happen because of race. It can happen because of even something as basic as football and cricket and baseball. Cricket fans of two teams may fight with each other. And similarly, baseball fans of two teams can fight against each other. So, when people have ego, then that ego leads to conflict. That ego can lead to violence. So when people have ego, they can use any cause and every cause for fighting. So just as people can use sports for fighting, fans of two sports stars can fight because saying my sports star is the best. So patriots of two countries can fight, leaders of two races can fight, and similarly people of two religions can also fight. So the cause of fighting is not just the fact that differentiation has been created because of religion, but rather that religion is practiced not for a spiritual purpose but for the sake of ego. So religion does not come with a stamp, and we should not think that religion is something which divides people and because it is artificial it has to be rejected. Rather, its purpose has to be understood and fulfilled, and then that which is our innate nature to love and serve will be directed in a way by which we can attain lasting peace and happiness. Thank you. Hare Krishna.